What is up, design family, and welcome to another episode of FittDesign TV. On today's episode, we have the start of a new series that I feel you guys would find very useful. We call this series Supplier No-Nos. I'm drawing from my experience as a designer and as a producer of manufactured garments over the last 3 years, dealing with overseas manufacturers and outlining the main red flags that I've seen to share with you guys. So hopefully if you're getting into the game, you're looking at creating customized product overseas with suppliers, you can take some of these experiences and use them so that you don't have to make these mistakes. Welcome to FittDesign TV. On this channel, we'll explore what it takes to make it as an activewear fashion brand, whilst providing tips, tricks, and actionable steps towards starting your own product line. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to start your own brand or just someone interested in fitness fashion, there's something for you here. This red flag series will be split up across different series. I don't want to make these videos too long and I want to get straight to the point. Number one of supplier no-nos or red flags would be if a supplier is always in the yes game. All you ever hear from them is yes, yes, yes. Every single question, every single point of clarification, all you hear is yes. Generally, yes is a good thing. You want to hear yes from the people you're working with. But if a supplier is always saying yes and that's all you hear and their answers are so short, chances are they don't actually understand the artwork you've given them or the tech pack that you've given them. You want them to ask educated questions that prove that they've seen your artwork, they understand what they're looking at, and they're asking you for encouraging clarification to make sure that they execute on your design 100%. Chances are, even if there's a language barrier, they're not going to understand what it is that you're communicating 100%, and there can be some things that are lost in digital and visual translation. So they should be asking questions. And if you're asking them questions about very specific things and all they're saying is yes, 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 chances are that they have not taken the time to understand your request and to give you an educated opinion. So what's going to happen is they're going to execute incorrectly on your designs and you're going to pay for it. And they're going to mention that they didn't understand and it wasn't clear, and even though they said yes, you're going to have to pay for it with your time, money, and effort. So make sure that your suppliers are asking educated questions about your artwork and they're not only saying yes, 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 yes to every single question you ask them. Number two is if a supplier is pushing you to create a sample before they've given you a price quotation or a price range. Albeit in some specific examples where you have an overly complex product that you're trying to create that requires multiple layers and has multiple levels of sourcing, and the workmanship on the garment may be very costly to the factory, it could be better for them to wait until they've received or made a product as a sample in order to give you a final price quotation. However, in their experience, and these are people who do this thousands of times a month, they should be able to give you an estimate based on what they know their capabilities are, what their factory is, and what they priced similar items in the past. So they should at least be able to give you a price quotation. The reason that some suppliers may do this is a little bit sinister, and ultimately it has to do with locking you in. Once you place the sample order, they feel that you've invested, and then they are able to anchor you to a specific price of their choosing, and it just leaves much less room for negotiation. So you always want to have at least a price idea or price estimate off the bat, and that's why a tech pack is so important, that you send it to them and it accurately outlines your requests and your basic needs on this item. Because what they can tell you is, we don't accurately understand what you're looking for. We need to do some research to figure it out, and that's why we can't give you a quotation until we've created the physical product. With a tech pack that's highly detailed, you're eliminating 80 to 90% of that. So always get a price quotation or a price estimate before placing a sample order. Keep the room for negotiation open to yourself and make sure that this item can fit within your budget and you're not overpaying for it. And number three is if a supplier is too pushy. They're always pushing you to make an order. They're always pushing you for a payment. They're always pushing you to get to the next step, and that's their main focus. That doesn't necessarily mean that suppliers shouldn't ask for payment or should not ask for a project. That's their job, that's how they make their money, that's how they make their living. That's 100% okay. But what I'm talking about is if a supplier's only motivation and agenda is to consistently push for an order, and that's the main focus of every single conversation. At the end of the day, you do have to understand these people are humans. You want to build a relationship with your factory, whether it's your production manager or the owner, so that they can better understand your requirements, what your brand is, what your long-term potential is, what your target customer is, and just get on a psychological level a better understanding. And that does not happen when you and your supplier are always in a game of cat and mouse of, you know, make this payment, make this order, not this order, that order. So it's very important that you and your supplier, particularly your supplier, takes the time to understand you, your business better, and that has to do with asking questions and not always being so pushy. So being pushy is typically a red flag for me because it indicates that a supplier is not willing to put in the time and attention to figure your business out and to customize their offering specifically to what you're asking for. Hopefully you guys have seen these red flags. Maybe you've learned something new and now you can identify them in suppliers, whether you're on Alibaba.com or other sourcing websites, or if you've met suppliers through trade shows or expos. You're able to use this information, and we'll be dropping more nuggets of wisdom and info in future videos. If you guys have specific supplier red flags that you've seen, do feel free to drop them in the comments below. Educate our customers, educate the subscribers of this channel, people who are passing by. We would love to hear from you guys. As always, thank you so much for tuning into FittDesign TV. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you this piece of content. Stay awesome.